You should make a pros and cons list.
Run down the pros and cons of each for me.
You should make a list of pros and cons.
I'm all over it.
Hello and welcome to Sobriety Made Simple. I'm Timothy Martin. Today we are going to be discussing AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, and some pros and cons. Alcoholics Anonymous was started in the United States back in the 1930s. It teaches an abstinence-focused approach. Attendees are required to admit powerless over their addiction and that their lives have become unmanageable as a result. Attendees are also told to look to a power greater than themselves to restore them to sanity. And this power invariably means God. They are also required to have a mentor-type person called a sponsor and work a series of 12 steps to recover. Now, I've been in AA several times. I've worked the 12 steps, and I've had a sponsor. And in my opinion, from my experience, AA was a very good thing in my life, especially at the beginning. It was a good way to build support. It was a good way to start. However, my progress always fizzled out. I became complacent and other factors also came involved. Now, of course, everything I say is my opinion. From someone who has gone through this, and please understand me, I'm going to be as unbiased as I can. I'm going to say the good things about AA as well as my take on the cons of AA. So please take that into consideration and, as always, form your own opinion. Now, some pros of AA.
A lot of good stuff.
Good stuff.
Number one, anonymity. People in the program identify with this to keep the names of the people who go there private, which is a very good thing. If you're trying to get help, this is a private matter. A lot of people, when they first start to get help for an alcohol problem, might see it as an embarrassing or humiliating thing. They don't want it to be made public. You could have a job that might be compromised or some type of social or family situation. So AA does offer that. It's in the name. Anonymous.
What? Anonymous? Anonymous? What the hell is this?
Number two, AA offers a very structured environment. A timetable is set. There's a physical place to go to the meeting. These meetings are held at certain times a day, normally the same time every day. The meeting is also conducted on a timetable. It's not just a bunch of people sitting around talking. There's a structure to the meeting. It's organized. 3, it's a faith-based program. If you are a strong believer in a higher power, a godlike entity, then AA would be very good for you because it does have that in it, to rely on a higher power for help. 4, it is a group dynamic, meaning that you have supportive people. There are people there for a reason, and that is to stop drinking. So immediately on your first meeting, there is a good support group, and that is a really good thing. As a matter of fact, this is my number one reason to tell someone to go to AA, would be the support. If you're trying to stop drinking, you're probably trying to get away from some toxic people in your life, or you don't have anyone in your life that's going through this. So going to a place like this, you will be surrounded by like-minded people, people who have done this longer than you, who can help you and share with you the way they got through this part, the way they got through the beginning, or the way that they have maintained their sobriety for years. It's very, very helpful. 5, AA is free. In our country, the way the healthcare system is, a lot of times people don't have the availability to get counseling or help for an alcohol addiction. So AA does offer some type of help that's free of charge. It's not counseling help, but it is some type of help, especially in the support area. 6, a physical place to go. AA is usually held at the same place in the same building. So psychologically speaking, that gives the person more structure. I have to go to this meeting at this particular time. And even though they do offer Zoom meetings online, which is helpful if you can't leave your house or you feel inhibited in some way, you don't want to physically go to a meeting. Okay, I suggest, though, going to a meeting in person because it immerses you in the atmosphere of the meeting. You're around people. You're not staring at a computer screen. It does build a certain amount of self-esteem and self-confidence when you leave. You can say, I went, I physically went there. And in your mind, that's going to establish that you're trying to get help. It does kind of put an exclamation point on you wanting to get sober. Number 7, working the steps. AA is a 12-step program. So you start at step 1 and you work through these 12 steps. For a lot of people, that's kind of like a project. And it's goal-oriented to work these steps. And if you do work the steps, it's very helpful. Again, You've got something to work towards. It's something to strive towards. It's a new way of life, and it's a great way to begin. And as I said, and continue to stress, at the beginning, AA is very helpful. Just the ambience of starting something fresh, a new place, new people. Again, that is the number one reason I would tell someone to go to an AA meeting, is the support that you will immediately get.
I need support!
Okay, now some of the cons of AA.
Cons.
Again, in my opinion. 1, AA is faith-based. If you're not someone who believes in a higher power or that sort of thing, then that can become an issue because you do have to rely on a higher power that's called God. So this could be a problem if you don't have a certain belief in that. AA does have certain religious undertones. And as I said, if you're not a religious person or don't believe in that sort of thing, it could be an issue for you. Number 2, working the steps. Sometimes a 12-step program is an arduous thing. It's time-consuming. It can really dig into your life. It can take you places that you might not want to go, psychologically speaking. It can bring up painful memories, and it is suggested that you do these things. But sometimes things like that are best left in the past, in my opinion. There's no sense bringing up horrible childhood memories, or maybe some things you've done while drunk that could cause you pain, or could cause you to feel guilt or shame, or possibly relapse. Sometimes things are best left unsaid. 3, the personalities in the meeting. The meeting place that you go to is probably someplace local, someplace close to where you live. And if you continue to go, you're going to probably run into the same people at the same time. So you're going to have to deal with the problems of any type of group situation where there could be people there that just rub you the wrong way, or are going to get on your nerves. That human factor is there. I've unfortunately seen and heard underlying tones of racism and sexism in meetings. I've seen people who aren't going to AA meetings for the right reason, people who might be court-ordered to go, and they're not really there for AA. They just have to. They're just jumping through the hoops. And that's tough, especially on the females. This is a really horrible thing to say, but there are guys there who prey on females or think that that's a place to pick up females, and that's a huge no-no. But that does happen. I'm just being honest. Also, the anonymity aspect of AA isn't always adhered to by people. Or sometimes people take it upon themselves to talk about what is being said in a meeting. Sometimes to people who aren't even involved in AA. There's a gossip and rumor-mongering aspect that you're going to get when, of course, people are together. It's unavoidable. 4, powerlessness. This is something that I particularly had a problem with when I got further into sobriety. You have to admit that you're powerless and only God is going to be able to save you. I don't particularly agree with that. I think that empowering yourself to overcome your addiction is key. In the long term, you need to build self-confidence and self-esteem to continue your life alcohol-free. 5, there are certain times when a member will relapse, and sometimes people are shunned because of it. They are made to feel guilty. They are treated poorly or badly by other members because they did relapse. They get ignored. They get made fun of, or they feel weak or less than. And that is just the way human beings are, unfortunately. But again, these are just my personal thoughts on the program of AA. Please take what you can out of this. I would strongly stress at the beginning to go. The good outweighs the bad in my mind as far as getting help, especially at the beginning. And a lot of times this program works for people for years, decades. So if it's working well for you and you're comfortable in the 12-step program and you're comfortable going to your meetings, then by all means, whatever keeps you off alcohol. I've just found what works for me is a little mixture of a lot of things, a blending of things, a bit of AA, a bit of science and education, a little faith, and for me personally, a whole lot of willpower, a roll up your sleeves and get to work mentality, hard work and a positive attitude. That's the formula I have found. You've got to work on yourself. That is a major part of my recovery, to be honest with who you are and to work on becoming a better version of yourself. If you had cancer and the doctor said this drug will save you, you would take it, right? But there's another group of people that say, hey, if you eat certain foods and exercise a certain way, that's going to save you. And there's another group of people that say, have a great support group around you and have an extremely positive attitude and have a I'm going to beat this attitude and an extremely strong mindset. That's going to save you. Would you just do one of those things? Of course not. You would do all of those things. You would blend all of those things together to save your life. That's what I do. That's what I am doing. I'm taking what I can from each thing and blending it together into my program. That's why I made this channel. That's why I'm making these videos, because it is such a wonderful way that I have found. I want to share it. Folks, I spent 20 years drinking, and a lot of those years trying to stop drinking. And I'm not one of these people who decided I had a problem with alcohol and simply stopped. No, this is years of trying to stop and failing, and stopping again and failing. I spent a long time in AA. I spent a long time working the 12 steps, and I would always go back to drinking. And I learned to mix certain parts of AA as well as getting an education, going to school, studying psychology. All of these things have helped me so much. Exercise, diet, a strong sense of self, and yes, going to AA meetings, whatever helps. These things are what's working for me. Be open-minded, try new things, always be learning. I know enough to know that I don't know everything, and that's what keeps things fresh. That's what keeps things new. You've got to stay hungry. You've got to want this. Find your own way. I hope this helps. This was a very important video, and thanks for watching. And hey, keep up the good work. Remember, you decide what works best for you, okay? You, nobody else. Just keep moving forward, day by day, all right? Keep learning. Keep giving yourself pats on the back and hang in there, okay? Please smash that thumbs up button for me and subscribe if you haven't. It helps me to continue making these videos. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time, okay? Remember, you got this.
You got this.